Thierry ever since junior high, and he had never had a girlfriend in high school. His first romance with a female had been in his second year of university. But what an encounter it was! Ola had been a Swedish exchange student, a cliché that even Thierry, who had never left France, could recognize. He smiled to himself as they mounted the wide stone stairs to Professor Moutte's third-floor apartment. But the image of Ola naked in his bed faded as he looked around the 17th century mansion. Thierry marveled at the building's entrance hall, so different from the apartment where he was raised and the one he now shared with Jan, whose steep, red-tiled steps were so narrow that getting an armchair or even a bicycle up to their apartment was next to impossible. He purposely set his foot into the dip in each step, worn away by centuries of wealthy Aixois and their servants, coming and going out of this aristocratic mansion, now divided into 3 elegant apartments. "I can smell the hors d'oeuvre," Jan commented, taking 2 steps at a time. "Puff pastries, little bits of pizza, perhaps a tray of cold cuts, and a wheel of brie or 2. Supermarket cheese, I bet. Why do the well-off often serve such cheap food?" He stopped on a step and looked down at his friend, who had been awakened out of his daydream. "Are you listening? I'll bet the wine will be bag-in-box." He watched his friend place his small, wide foot in a groove in one of the stone steps. "Beggars can't be choosers," Thierry replied. "Besides, I am a connoisseur of bulk wines." Jan laughed and knocked on the door. He turned to his Marseillais friend, who was now panting, and quickly said, "I promise, when I am fully employed, hopefully in the near future, never to buy supermarket cheese or cheap wine." Thierry nodded in mock sincerity and replied, "Noted." With his father's teacher salary, Thierry had been raised on industrially produced cheese. But thanks to his Parisian friend, he now knew what artisanal cheese tasted like and secretly hoped that he too would be able to buy quality food. Quality everything someday. The Easter week he had spent at Monsieur Falquereau's penthouse overlooking Les Invalides had been one of the highlights of his 24 years. He had never eaten in so many fine restaurants, and in each one the Falquereau father and son were given the best table and chatted happily with the owners, staff, and chefs. Thierry admired Monsieur Falquereau, for despite the hordes of money and famous friends, Jan was given the same meager student budget as his peers. The apartment door was opened by a tall, handsome woman in her mid-40s with thick black hair and large brown eyes. Thierry was happy to see that she was wearing the scoop-neck black wool dress that he particularly liked on her. It showed off not only her perfect olive skin, but also her ample chest. "The gruesome twosome," she said, laughing. "Come in. You're just in time," she whispered, winking. "The table has just been laid." "Thanks, Professor Leonetti," they replied in unison. While both Thierry and Jan appreciated the scholarship of their host, Dr. Georges Moutte, they preferred the dynamic, often humorous lectures of the younger Dr. Annie Leonetti. But it was Dr. Moutte who had the last say on the Dumas Fellowship, and so here they were, giving up their traditional Friday night of trying to charm the American girls who hung out in Aix-en-Provence's pubs to hobnob with their professors. Thierry's stomach tightened as he saw the sea of heads, many of them gray, and was relieved that Dr. Leonetti was there. Jan was more comfortable in large groups, and although he usually watched Jan in order to follow his cues, tonight Thierry vowed to be more independent. Dr. Leonetti led the students to their host and then disappeared. "Try not to gawk around at the apartment," Jan warned his friend under his breath. Thierry didn't miss a beat. "As long as you don't say 'indeed' in that phony tone of voice you always use when speaking with the doyen." "Professor Moutte, bonsoir," Jan said, politely shaking the hand of the elderly, white-haired gentleman. "Good evening, doctor," Thierry said, taking his turn at shaking the age-spotted, frail hand. "Thank you for the invitation." "Not at all, not at all," stammered Dr. Moutte. "My professor..."